I'm Rob Thompson. Hey, man, have y'all checked your thermometer? It's like 46 degrees outside. It's football weather. I didn't realize it. It's football season. We got football kicking off in San Antonio the right way. Last year, our San Antonio Gunslingers represented well and fell a little short of the title. They've already begun their second season up in San Diego last week. An early stumble, but the season just began. And we'd like to begin what's going to be a regular feature here on San Antonio Sports Star and welcome on the head coach of your fighting San Antonio Gunslingers, Coach Tom Menas, who's here. Coach, we'd like to welcome you aboard. I feel like I should welcome you to San Antonio, though you've been here for several months and been at work, already started the season. As we join you mid-week of practice, thanks for getting up with us.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I've been up for several hours already. So that's football. Yeah. But thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Coach, you're a football lifer and certainly have had spent some time in the inside workings of Arena Football League, especially around the IFL. You did some wonders up in Albany and saved a franchise up there, and prior to that had been involved in lots of different ways. Tell me the mentality of taking a franchise and building it to a championship level that you've had such success doing in the past.
Well, my style is a little bit different than most. I start with the character, the individuals that we're going to have here. And, the way I recruit is I recruit great character guys that just happen to be good football players, not the other way around. And that way you can develop a championship culture with those kinds of people because they're used to working through adversity. They're used to working hard every day. They're used to being a good teammate, good stewards of the brand. And then all the other pieces fall into place and you move on from there. I think when you try to just get good football players and not worry about how they are as individuals, those teams tend to implode either, somewhere during the season or when you really need them, they don't have that character to count on to pull it off. And I think we're just the exact opposite. I think that was evident, in our game with San Diego. We're a young team, and we had probably a third of our players had never been on an indoor football field before game night. And I was proud of the effort they put in, and obviously we had a little miscue at the end and 9 seconds left to go, and we ended up losing. But we were in that, and we scored over 60 points. So I think there's some real positive things to build off of.
Coach, you mentioned character being such of high importance. How do you discern that? How do you evaluate that? I mean, is it a Q&A? Is it a sit down? Is it talking to family members and friends? I mean, how do you truly get to the bottom of who a person's character is and making sure that you want them as a part of your culture?
Yeah, I think yes is the answer to all those things. I start initially with the conversation with the young man, and they know me. I don't know them. They can Google me and find out my history in football and what I've done and where I've won and the things that we've done. Now, if you want to be part of that, I want an open and honest dialogue. So we'll start that off with usually that is supposed to be a 10-minute phone call. It ends up being about an hour long. And I let them talk. I let them tell me about themselves. Tell me your story. We all have a story. What's your story? And they'll tell me. And some of them are really inspirational. What some kids have gone through. I coached a kid one time who lived in his car from age of 19 to 21. He was homeless and lived in New York and slept in the back seat of his car for almost 3 years and ate when he could and all that. And then you bring him here or you bring him to the team I was at the time and he gives you 100% effort and everything else. He was a great character kid, but I start with the phone conversation, then I typically do my research. And usually that involves me talking to their college coach or their college teammates. Then I'll talk to any professional experience they had. I'll talk to their coach, teammates again. We'll look to see if we find any press clippings. And listen, if a kid had an incident when he was 22 years old and now he's 26, 27, I don't hold that against them as long as they're on a good, clear path to getting better. And so it's really taking the time. And I always say a lot of coaches are lazy. You know, they don't want to take the time to learn about the kid. They just look at the stat sheet, and that'll come back and bite you in the butt every time. And when we do it our way, you know, that's how we win championships. And 1-12 now, you know, we're going after our 13th. I am. My staff is, you know, the same way. So our thought process is real simple. You know, if you're a good guy and you can play football, you belong here. If you're a good football player but not a good guy, yeah, you ain't going to be here. So you don't have to worry about it.
He is Tom Menas. I'll tell you what, you're putting together a team that feels very much like San Antonio. And it's for dollar, there is no better entertainment than arena football put together the right way. Tell us about your offensive philosophy, because obviously lots of points are scored. You just talked about getting 60. What is unique about your style, and why have you been so successful with it? And then tell us about the players that you're using.
Okay, well, the way you have a great offense starts with hiring the best offensive coordinator in the country, and that's James Fuller. And so James and I have been competitors over the last 4 or 5 years, and I always said to him, when the opportunity would present itself, I'd love for you to, you know, work with me and that. So it started with James. And then you got to build a great menu of talent for a great offense coordinator. Well, we signed Sam Cashinova, who I had up in New York and won rings with. Then you start with your offensive line, and you build off that, which are guys that have played for me and won rings for me before. So you got your Cornelius Lewis, McQuell Harvey, Isaiah Hardy, Stallworth. All these young men are, again, great football players and also great individuals. Then we have, of course, our local favorite, Kali Richard. And Kali is dynamic. I call him the water bug, man, because I'll tell you what, you put him on the field and good luck trying to catch him. In San Diego, he hurdled a guy from about the 5-yard line and was probably 7-8 feet in the air when he did it. Great talent guy. We have DJ Myers, Naquan Murray. These are all all-star indoor football players. These are guys that are absolutely tremendous at their craft. So part of a great offense is making sure that you have that kind of talent pool. It's a little bit different than defense in the sense that these guys are assignment-driven. Coach Fuller and Coach Johnson, our offensive line coach, when they put together the game plan, when we review it, how we're going to approach it, you know, are we going to run the ball today? Are we going to throw the ball more today? How are we going to do it? I had to give them the talent in order to do that, and they have it. And there's a danger sometimes in putting together all-star teams because, you know, guys can tend to be individuals. Again, if they pass our vetting process, that's something we don't have to worry about, and they work really well together. So we're again, if the quick and easy answer is you hire the best OC in the country, and then you give him all the talent he can handle.
Coach, as we get ready to move along here and people get excited to watch y'all, what is, you know, for people that are jumping in now, what is one thing you want them to know about your team to kind of understand who you are, your disposition, and how you all plan to move forward?
Okay, well, you know, it kind of upsets some people that aren't fans because we have one expectation only, and that's to bring a championship to San Antonio. And guys will say to me, you know, hey, it's your first year, you know, don't be so aggressive and don't talking about what you're going to try to accomplish and try to do. And I said, well, you're low bar goal setters. We're not. We're high bar goal setters. We self-impose our own pressure. And, you know, it's my expectation that, you know, we have 16 regular season games, and at the end of it, we're going to host a home playoff game or two, and then we're going to go to the championship in Vegas. That's our expectation. Anything less than that, we failed. So if a fan would be interested in what would entice you to come and see that, well, imagine 21 guys on game day with one common goal, and that's just to make it to a championship, and that's the kind of effort you get to see. So they're willing to do what it takes on the field. I want to fill Freeman Coliseum. We want to sell that sucker out and make the crowd our ninth man, if you will, because we play 8-man ball. So, yeah, I think that our culture here fits perfectly with the citizens of San Antonio, hardworking people, and family oriented. We're family oriented. We live under the auspice of God, family, and football in that order. And so,
Don Rackler would be proud. You represent our city quite well, Coach. He is Tom Menas, the head coach of the San Antonio Gunslingers. You get your first chance to go support. They got a home game coming up this Saturday, April 6th at the Joe Freeman. The Northern Arizona, the Wranglers, coming to town. Tell us about them.
Good football team. Coach Moss is he's a lifer like me. Their head coach, and they're going to be a tough opponent. They've got some experienced guys on their team. When we face them this Saturday, it's going to be a dogfight. I can anticipate a very, very tough football game that'll probably come down to the last possession. So,
your chance to go see him. It's Saturday. It is here. And let me tell you, for the dollar, for the time, there is no better fun thing to do than go check out an indoor football like it. It's the IFL. It's our team, the San Antonio Gunslingers. Don Rackler brought him to you. He's the head coach of the Gunslingers. Tom Menas, you guys have got a phenomenal facility. I'm going to go check this thing out in a couple of minutes. Tell us about the draw that the facility is. Have you ever had a place to work with like this that the Gunslingers have put together?
Yeah, the last place I worked with like this was in the NFL. And I mean that sincerely. The way this whole thing started, it's an unbelievable story, is when I signed September 1st to be the head coach and GM here, we were driving to the old practice facility and we were on the highway, and he asked me what I needed to bring a championship here. And I said, see that building over there? That would be perfect. And Don looked at me and he goes, I own that. And I said, of course you do, So a little convincing, and Don saw my vision of the place. And then I was told, because Don and I became friends very, very rapidly because we share a lot of our moral compass, we'll say, points in the same direction. And so when we started building this thing, I said, I'd like to put a weight room in there. I want conference rooms. I want a great locker room. I want a great rehab and physical training area. All those things. And he said, okay. And then I let him go. And if anyone knows Don, he does everything big. And I think that right now I get calls all the time from people around the country, indoor and outdoor, that rave about the facility. And seeing it online doesn't do it justice. When you come here and you see the facility and what Don did, we have an arena football field here at our practice facility. Nobody does that, and nobody has everything under one roof. These kids, every day after practice get a catered lunch brought to them here at the facility before meetings. We have the chiropractors, the masseuses, all the things that you need. We have a rec room for the players, with a pool table, big screen TV, couches, their own kitchen. If they want to warm up a burrito or something after practice, they have everything they could possibly want. Basketball court, a cornhole area. And so the players come and they stay the whole day, and that's how families created. And the bonding that usually takes weeks and weeks on a football team, we accomplish during camp. So,
hey, Coach, congratulations on the environment. It sounds spectacular, and that sounds exactly as Don would put together. Don Rackler, the owner of the San Antonio Gunslingers. You know him quite well around San Antonio's airways. One last thing. You come out of Michigan and coached a fair amount of time up at Oakland. That university made a little name for itself a couple weeks ago. Have you talked to Coach Campy at all, or send him some congratulations on what Oakland did in the tournament?
Oh, yeah. Send him an email for sure. It's, Oakland was a great experience for me because my daughter had gone to Oakland, and it was always, for a D1 school, it's a small D1 school. The Dodge family founded that, and Mrs. Dodge always wanted to make it the Harvard of the North. And so they hired me to try to bring D1 football there. And I did it for a couple years, and we ended up, I think my record there was like 23-1, and we won a national championship. And so, I mean, it was, it was a great experience. I can tell you this, I like what I'm doing now a hell of a lot more not like that, because my bureaucracy is just, I get called on. I don't have to call a chain of, deans and, athletic directors and all that kind of stuff. So, but it was a great experience. I'm really proud of the basketball team. Coach Campy is a legacy there. I think he's been there longer, than any president has ever been there. He's been there, I think, over 25 years. And he just did a tremendous job. Proud of him.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the beginning of a new season. Got a lot of games to play. Hey, go out and see them. It's Saturday afternoon at the Joe Freeman Coliseum. Rain or shine, the weather's always great inside. The best value for entertainment in all of San Antonio. Go check them out. It's our San Antonio Gunslingers. Their homestand begins on Saturday. Kickoff just a little after 6. Get there early. I'm sure, as Don always has, there's going to be all kinds of stuff going on inside and out. It's a great time. Coach, congratulations on the beginning. We look forward to talking to you next week. Good luck, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.